Hello people on YouTube, my name is Em Kauf. I coughed. I am your YouTube commentator with a distorted voice because I am fucking paranoid as hell that somebody might recognize my voice here on YouTube, and they will, I don't know, I'm just very paranoid. So, I do plan on uploading more videos. I plan on also not saying as much, but, you guys might, and I don't think you do, but you guys might not notice that I uploaded another video just a few days ago. It's called COD Crippler Has Ghosts Done in COD, and it's essentially me offering my 2 cents on Call of Duty Ghosts and what that means for Call of Duty and so on and so forth. You can go watch that video. It's very long-winded. It's about an hour and a half long, but if you can sit through it, then you're a trooper. And I do realize I made 2 mistakes. I said that Sandy Hook took place in 2013, and I also said that Killzone Shadowfall received a 9.7 out of 10 from IGN when it really only received an 8. So I do apologize for those 2 little faux pas. But that's basically what I have to say about that, and in case you're wondering, you will not see any video, like any video or any visuals, in my videos. You're just gonna see a word on the screen, and you're just gonna hear me speaking. So, that's basically how my video format is gonna be, at least until I get tired of uploading rants, and, you know, maybe until I realize that no one gives a fuck what I have to say about, anything. Boy, what do I have to say here? Yeah, I think that's about it. So, well, let's talk about the subject of today's video. The topic of today's video is conspiracy theorists, and most notably the 9/11 conspiracy theorists. You know, I figured I might as well just make this little rant, about the 9/11 conspiracy theorists in light of the fact that, obviously, that recently we've had this 9/11 thing pop back up in popular culture. If you don't know what I'm referring to, during a Super Bowl press conference, it was after the Super Bowl, like after it was over, they were interviewing or something like that. They were in a press conference with the MVP of the Super Bowl, Malcolm Smith, and I don't know why, but some bald guy ran up onto the stage, on the podium, whatever it was. He grabbed the microphone and he started screaming into it that 9/11 was an inside job and it was perpetrated by the government. And I guess it's not like it's not like you'd think. It's not like they got security in there and then they dragged him out of there and they beat him or something like that. He just ran off by himself, and I don't know what happened to him after that, but effectively he did what he did, and that's kind of why I'm making this video. And I'm just going to get right into it and say that, you know, I am a proponent of critical thinking. I'm a huge proponent of critical thinking. I believe that we as a society would be better off if we would learn to think for ourselves, and we would stop having people teach us how to think and why to think that way and when to think that way. So obviously I'm a big proponent of something like that. And when it comes to the whole 9/11 conspiracy thing, you know, I'm glad that these people, I am immeasurably glad that they exercise critical thinking ability. I'm glad that they do that. I'm really glad that they do that, and because at the end of the day, they're making a small change in society that we're probably never going to see in a major way. But just in general, I commend them for not, for not believing what they're told, and looking at things to the contrary, in a different way, and so on and so forth. And I would like to say that I do not myself believe that 9/11 was an inside job. Um, I went through a stage for maybe about 2.5 weeks where I started thinking that 9/11 might have been an inside job. Like, I started looking at a lot of documentaries, and I started thinking, wow, oh my God, look at all this evidence, look at all this stuff. Oh my God, maybe it was an inside job. Holy shit. So I went through a phase for a little bit where I may have thought it was an inside job. I didn't quite know what I thought at that point. But so I've been there. But one day I was on YouTube and I was watching a video. It was a 9/11 debate between these guys from these guys Dylan Avery and Jason Burmis. These two who produced this film called Loose Change, about 9/11. It was released, I believe, in 2005 or 2006. That's when the interview looked like the debate looked like it took place. And they were in a debate with these guys from Popular Mechanics, and one guy's name was Jim Meigs. And I can't remember what the other guy's name was. I think his name was Dave or something like that. But I started watching that debate, and it was in a few parts, and you can definitely still find it here on YouTube. But the guys from Loose Change, they brought up a lot of good points. They brought up a lot of little things that didn't quite make sense about the official story, and they just presented them very, very, very effectively and very efficiently. At least in my opinion, anyway. I mean, to you, they may have done it in such a way that it was shitty and it fucked the whole thing. But I thought they did a good job. And the thing of it is that the guys from Popular Mechanics, they did an even better job of refuting it. They came out very civil. They were just very very down to earth. Like, well, I mean, here's what's wrong with what you're saying. And I took note of this, that every single time that the guys from Popular Mechanics would refute a piece of evidence, the Dylan Avery guy and the Jason Burmis guy, they would act like the biggest snotty pricks. I mean, they would be, laughing and shaking their heads and saying, "Oh my God, man," and just being really obnoxious and just being real smartasses about the whole thing. I mean, just very unnecessarily. I mean, and needless to say, after watching that debate, I became kind of, like, yeah, 9/11's not an inside job. You can explain every single one of these things logically, and I feel like I got back a few of my brain cells, honestly, because I felt kind of, I felt like for the last few weeks or so I had been kind of stupid almost, so I felt instantly just a tad bit more intelligent when I just kind of came to that realization. And I'm not saying that people who believe that 9/11 was an inside job, I'm not saying these people are stupid or anything like that. I'm just saying, for myself personally, I felt kind of stupid being behind this cause, and then watching the people who produced a documentary about it get absolutely fucked by these guys from Popular Mechanics. So that's my story of how I went truther for maybe 2.5 weeks, and I just saw the debate, and that was the end of that. And the thing of it is that I made that transition very easily. I watched the debate. I saw the guys from Popular Mechanics. They refuted. They just flat out debunked a lot of these theories, these pieces of evidence. And so it was very easy for me to be like, oh, okay, so 9/11 wasn't okay, so it wasn't an inside job. Okay, all right. But it does not seem to be that easy for other people. Like, if you go on YouTube and you look at 9/11 conspiracy videos or something like that, you'll go in the comment section and you'll see people like, oh, Tower 7, thermite, bleh. And then you'll have other people who are like, well, are you guys out of your minds? And then there'll be some scholarly person who will go in there and try to debate them. And the thing of it is this person is going to win the debate. They're hands down going to win the argument. But the 9/11, the person who believes 9/11, the people on there, the people who believe that 9/11 was an inside job, the people on that video who believe it was an inside job, they're like, no, you're wrong. And it doesn't matter how many different ways that you refute everything that they say. It does not matter if you refute it by saying, I mean Jesus. There's got to be hundreds of ways to refute every single thing these people, every little issue they have with the official story of 9/11. And it doesn't matter which way you do it because they never believe you. And I think that this, to an extent, is it's sort of telling as to why people don't believe. It's not really telling. It's just something that kind of makes conspiracy theorists like all the less believable. The thing of it is that when somebody proves you wrong, you shouldn't sit there in denial of it and just be like, it doesn't matter what anybody says, this is the truth. That's an absolutely ludicrous way to look at things, and it's preposterous, and that's why people think that conspiracy theorists are nuts, because they have that some of them have that train of thought. You know what I mean? Like some of them, some of them think that way. It doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what the evidence says, doesn't matter how you refute any of the points. That this is just fact. No matter what, this is fact. That's why they're never taken seriously. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of different people who believe that 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, holy crap. I mean, I think, I do not know, I'm not sure, but I think Pete Carroll actually, I'm not saying that Pete Carroll was a 9/11 truther or anything like that. I'm just saying Pete Carroll says, like, apparently he's got some questions about 9/11 or something like that. So Pete Carroll, obviously the coach of the Seahawks, it's not just him, it's a lot of other people too. I'm not quite sure, okay, I'm just gonna go to my main point. There are cops who believe 9/11 was an inside job. There are people in the military who believe that 9/11 was an inside job. There are people like in, like the Army, the Marines, Navy, the Air Force. Some of these people believe 9/11 was an inside job. The thing of it is that they're not like that. Like the cops and the people from the military, they're not like that. If you prove them wrong, I don't think that they sit in denial. They're just like, oh well, okay, But I don't think that I think that in that case they're the minority. You know what I mean? I think that I think that people who are really willing to believe that, well, people who are willing to, like if their 9/11 truth stuff, if this is refuted, there's very few people I think that, aside from maybe like the cops or the military, that are able to say, oh, well, okay, you got me, Everybody else, I think, who believes that 9/11 was an inside job, they live in denial. Like if you refute their points, they will deny it to the death. They do not want to give you the satisfaction of knowing that you're right, and it's just it's crazy. And that's why they're never going to be taken seriously. The thing of it is that you can have your ideas and you can have this and you can have that, but at the end of the day, if you're not willing to open your mind to other people's ways of thinking, if you're not if you are not willing to at least accept that there are problems with your theory or with your version of events, then no one's going to take you seriously. And these 9/11 people shouldn't be surprised no one takes them seriously. You know what I'm saying? It seems like every single person that they get, well, at least that I know of, it seems like the people that they get are in some way they're fucked up. In some way they are either fucked up or they fuck up down the trail. Jason Burmis and Dylan Avery, we already talked about them. Damn. And I have just run clear out of these people. There we go. There's one guy whose name was Mike Rupert. And I'm not too sure if old Mike Rupert is still hanging around or anything like that. But Mike Rupert did a thing back in November of 2011. November of 2011, Jesus Christ. He did something back in November of 2001, where it was basically a presentation that he did, and I have it on DVD over here just because I wanted to see what exactly it was he was talking about. And it was essentially him talking about the truth and lies of 9/11 and how certain people were connected with this and this was connected to this and so on and so forth. But it was good. I mean, if you were a person who believes 9/11 was an inside job, that's something to watch. It doesn't deal tremendously with like the actual events or like if there were explosives in the towers or whatever but it does. It does deal with some things that some people might not be acutely aware of. So, I was impressed by it, and by this time I was already over my truther stage, but I was still impressed by it. So, obviously this guy would have been a good figurehead for the whole, let's get the truth of 9/11 if we're not being told the full story at all. He would have been a good figurehead for this whole thing. And I forget, he had a magazine publication or something like that, for a few years. And then I guess back in 2006 or something like that, 2006, 2005, he got sued for $30,000 by 3 women for sexual harassment. Apparently he walked into one of the women's, one of their offices with, and I'm paraphrasing what she said here. She said he walked in with nothing on but his underwear and a smile. 9/11 truthers, listen to what I have to say because it'll save you. Well, it won't save you. It won't save you. It's just a word of caution. If you want people to take you seriously, you gotta have a spotless track record. You know what I mean? Because nobody's gonna take you seriously. If you're like a Dylan Avery or a Jason Burmis, and like in a debate you take part in, you come off like a cocky prick, they're not going to take you seriously, and it doesn't matter if you, well it does matter, but you need to have a clean track record. That's my point. You can't be like a Dylan Avery or a Jason Burmis. You can't be like a Mike Rupert and get sued for $30,000 for sexually harassing female employees. You can't do these things. If you want to have people take you seriously, you can't be doing these things. You know what I'm saying? But if you couple that with the fact that these people they don't want to believe, they do not want to concede in the slightest that their version of events might not be what took place. If you combine these two things, this 9/11 truth thing's never going to go anywhere. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I commend them because they're thinking critically and they're not believing what they're told. I commend them for that. It's just that, they need to stop. they need to stop, acting like this is how it is. They need to stop being so dogmatic. Here's what I think. At the end of the day, these people just need to, You know, if their points can be refuted and their arguments can be let me put it this way. If you can find a logical explanation for everything that's wrong with the official story of 9/11, just if you can find that logical explanation and present it to a 9/11 truther or whatever it is, well, okay, I have tried to phrase this at least 2 or 3 times in the past 45 seconds, and I am just, I'm fucking myself right now. So let me just say this. If you're a 9/11 truther and you find that your arguments are constantly refuted and constantly, there's a logical explanation for everything with 9/11. If you find that happening, you don't sit there dogmatically and say, well, it doesn't matter, it's still an inside job. Listen to what the proponents of the official story have to say. It will I will respect these people a lot more if they would just listen. If they would listen to what the people with the official story, like what they have to say. You know what I mean? Like when their points have been when everything they say is wrong with the official story, when that has been refuted, I wish that they would stop being so dogmatic and that they would try to understand that every story, including conspiracy theories, they all have holes. They all have holes in them, and just because they have holes in them does not mean that they're not true. Every one of those things has a logical explanation, and you can believe what you want to believe, but at the end of the day, the evidence suggests something that may be entirely different from what you believe. And it's very, and I'm just gonna end on this. It's very disingenuous to sit back and just, no matter what evidence is presented to you, to simply deny it. It's just it's not gonna get you anywhere, and people are just gonna think the same thing of you that they think now. They're just gonna think that you're a paranoid conspiracy nut job who no one should take seriously. So that's just what I had to say. And I'm interested to know what you guys think. What do you guys think? Do you think that the 9/11 conspiracy theorists? Do you think that these people are? Do you think these people are on the right track? Do you think 9/11 was an inside job, or do you think these people are just off their rocker and need to be medicated? Start the debate in the comment section below. Do you think that 9/11 was an inside job? Do you think the official story is full of holes? Do you think that that the 9/11 conspiracy theorists are nuts? If you have something to say about 9/11 in the comment section, put it down there. Start the debate, folks. Start the debate. Let's get a good dialogue going here. But until next time, my name is Em Kauf, and I thank you very much for clicking on this YouTube presentation and listening to what I has to say. So, thank you very much, and so long, children. Well, so long, folks. That was so fucking weird. So long, guys. I'll see you in the next video.